All right, tonight, the inflation numbers, as we've been saying, are not good. Americans are not better off than they were 4 years ago. The joy in the Harris campaign is now gone. So how does Donald Trump continue to pick up momentum as we head for the finish line? Now, in my opening monologue, I did list, nearly, 6 questions that she has yet to answer. It infuriates me that she can go on the Call Me Daddy podcast, Howard Stern, The View. She can go on Stephen Colbert, Crack a Beer, 60 Minutes, ask one tough question, but then they edit 2 separate answers for one question. And is this what we call journalism in America? Vivek Ramaswamy is with us. I'm glad we got you back, number one. Number two, you've always been really hyper-focused on Republicans' need to lay out a better vision. I think at this point it's more than that. I think Republicans, absolutely, they've got to lay out their economic vision, their vision for the absolute insanity at our border, how we're going to deal with foreign adversaries, how we're going to deal with energy prices and inflation, all of that. And however, I want answers from Kamala Harris. They don't seem to be forthcoming. And maybe I'm dreaming. Maybe it's a fantasy. Maybe I'm in a surreal world. I would think that the media would demand those answers that they're not demanding. Why am I that naive, having done this for so long?
Well, I wouldn't call you naive, Sean, but I would say I look at it a little bit differently. I don't see us as running against Kamala Harris here, actually. Just like we weren't actually running against Joe Biden. We're not running against a candidate. We are up against a machine. And what we need to do is to get in there and dismantle that machine. That's what draining the swamp is actually all about. And I do think that a lot of people are seeing through that smoke screen for what it is. So if you think about Joe Biden's cognitive deficits, and he had them, well, you know what? Those were not a bug, but they were a feature for the people who managed and controlled him. The same thing goes for Kamala Harris's policy deficits. That was actually an advantage for the people who are pulling the strings, the puppet masters who are wielding their puppet. And what we get with Donald Trump is somebody who's actually an executive. The person we elect to run the government is going to be the person who's actually running the government. And that's why a lot of independents and even one-time Democrats are coming along to say, you know what, even if I don't agree with 100% of what Donald Trump has to say, I'd rather have an actual executive who's strong rather than a figurehead and a puppet who's just another wheel in that system. That's what this race is about.
But there are very powerful institutions against President Trump. There is something called the deep state. God only knows what we'll learn from 51 former intel agents only a couple of weeks before this pending election. God only knows what other indictments will be coming down in the days ahead, which I have no doubt are probably going to come, or what lawfare or what a weaponized DOJ is capable of. You have an institution as powerful as the media, and they can't ask, do you still believe in the bill that you co-sponsored, the Green New Deal, $93 trillion? You would eliminate the filibuster to pass it? That we can't get an answer why she would eliminate private health insurance, why she would never say the words radical Islamic terrorism? I think these are kind of basic and fundamental things, and a grave disservice to the country is happening here before our eyes.
Well, no doubt about it. And, you're seeing the same thing with Tim Walz, who's now the vice presidential candidate. I will say that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, by the way, share one thing in common, Sean. They both got their jobs as vice president because of their race and gender. So if the Democrats learn one thing out of the defeat that's coming for them, let it be that identity politics never works for hiring. But I'll say something deeper about the deep state, which you raised as well, because this is a real issue. We talk a lot in our party and about the Trump presidency, about the mass deportations that are coming, and that's important. If we've had the largest influx of illegal aliens, we've got to have the largest mass deportation in history. But my advice is don't forget about the second mass deportation that we need as well. That's the mass deportation of millions of unelected federal bureaucrats out of the D.C. bureaucracy. I think we can't fall into this trap to say we're going to reform that bureaucracy. Incremental reform doesn't work when it comes to the administrative state, when it comes to the deep state. You need to make deep cuts if you're going to defeat the deep state. And I do think this time around, Donald Trump is more prepared than ever to go the distance, to be able to say that we're not going in to reform the bureaucracy, we're going in to dismantle it, to shut it down. That's how you save a republic. That's how you save this broken system from itself. That's what I'm excited for. In about 25 days, I don't urge complacency on anybody, but I feel really good about things. What I saw on the ground yesterday in Pennsylvania, I joined President Trump for both of his rallies, including in Scranton, Joe Biden's hometown. It's like I've never seen before, the kind of energy that we're seeing, lines of people miles away from the event. We are potentially on the eve of a tidal wave if people see this through and actually show up. And if you're able to vote early, vote on election day, even better. But if we do this, I think we can unite the country and do what Reagan did last in the 80s, Sean. I'm excited for it, but it's going to require everybody to do their part.
Well, the best way to unite the country is to be successful. President Trump says that often. By the way, I see that you have a new promo out for Fox Nation, and you're doing a show on Fox Nation. It might be one of the funniest promos I ever saw, and I promise not to talk too much. Anybody that's hosting a show never promises not to talk too much. That would be a rarity. I'm going to have to check it out on Fox Nation.
A new voice emerges. Vivek Ramaswamy's unconventional path to politics. Vivek Ramaswamy, the name is on everyone's lips. But who is he? Ramaswamy's story is not your typical political tale. He didn't climb the ranks of government or spend years courting donors. He built a successful career in biotech, founding Roivant Sciences. He's a self-made entrepreneur who understands the challenges facing American businesses. But Ramaswamy is more than just a businessman. He's a deep thinker, a writer, a man concerned about the direction of our nation. This concern propelled him into the political arena. In 2022, he announced his candidacy for the Republican nomination for president. It was a bold move, a leap into the unknown. Many dismissed him as a long shot. They underestimated his drive, his message, his connection with a segment of America hungry for change. Ramaswamy offered a fresh perspective, a break from the tired rhetoric of the political establishment. He spoke of a revival of American national identity, a return to the principles that made our nation great. His message resonated, people listened, and slowly, steadily, Vivek Ramaswamy began to climb in the polls. Commanding the stage, Ramaswamy's breakout debate performance. The GOP debate was electric. All eyes were on the stage, on the candidates vying for the nomination. But one man stood out, Vivek Ramaswamy. From the moment he spoke, he commanded attention. His intellect was sharp, his delivery confident, his words carefully chosen. Ramaswamy didn't shy away from his outsider status. He embraced it. He challenged the Republican establishment, questioned their orthodoxy. He spoke directly to the American people, offering a vision for a stronger, more prosperous nation. He spoke of individual liberty, of limited government, of restoring the American dream. He tackled tough issues with nuance and depth, demonstrating a firm grasp of policy. He debated with passion, but also with respect, even when challenged by his opponents. By the end of the night, one thing was clear. Vivek Ramaswamy had arrived. He had exceeded expectations, solidified his place as a serious contender. The political landscape had shifted, a new force had emerged. Challenging the status quo. Key issues in Ramaswamy's crosshairs. Vivek Ramaswamy doesn't shy away from controversy. He tackles tough issues head-on, challenging conventional wisdom. During the debate, he staked out his positions on a range of critical topics, from foreign aid to the regulation of social media giants like TikTok. He questioned the effectiveness of America's foreign aid programs, arguing for a more strategic approach. He expressed concern over the influence of China, calling for a tougher stance against Beijing. And he raised alarm bells about the power of big tech, advocating for greater scrutiny of social media platforms and their impact on our society. Ramaswamy's positions may not always be popular, but they are principled. He's not afraid to stand up for what he believes in, even if it means challenging the status quo. It's this willingness to speak his mind, to engage in honest debate, that has endeared him to so many Americans. Section 4. Connecting with the Heartland. A town hall in Springfield. Springfield, Ohio. A city facing the same challenges as many across the heartland. Closed factories, lost jobs, a sense that the American dream is slipping away. This is where Vivek Ramaswamy chose to hold a town hall. He didn't go to a glitzy city or a college campus. He went to the people, to the heart of America. The town hall was packed. People from all walks of life came to hear Ramaswamy speak, to ask him questions, to share their concerns. He listened intently, engaging with each person with respect and empathy. He didn't offer easy answers or make empty promises. He offered a vision for a stronger America, a nation where everyone has the opportunity to succeed. The town hall in Springfield was more than just a campaign event. It was a symbol of Ramaswamy's commitment to listening to the American people, to understanding their hopes and dreams. It was a powerful reminder that politics should be about people, not just power. Section 5. Restoring Civil Discourse. Ramaswamy's call for unity and truth. America is divided. The political climate is toxic. Misinformation runs rampant. Vivek Ramaswamy understands this. He sees the damage being done to our nation, the erosion of trust, the decline of civil discourse, and he's offering a different path forward. Ramaswamy believes in the power of ideas, in the importance of honest debate. He rejects the politics of personal destruction, the demonization of those who hold different views. He calls for a return to civility, to a respect for the truth. He also recognizes the threat of misinformation. He understands the corrosive effect it has on our democracy. That's why he's committed to combating falsehoods, to promoting accurate information. He believes that an informed citizenry is essential for a healthy democracy. Section 6. Reshaping the GOP landscape. Ramaswamy's impact on the 2024 race. Vivek Ramaswamy has shaken up the 2024 Republican primary. He's injected energy and excitement into the race, forcing his opponents to rethink their strategies. His message has resonated with a segment of the Republican base hungry for change, for a break from the status quo. He's challenging the party establishment, pushing them to address the concerns of everyday Americans. He's forcing a debate on the future of the GOP, on what it means to be a conservative in the 21st century. Whether Ramaswamy wins the nomination or not, his impact on the Republican Party is undeniable. He's shifted the conversation, brought fresh ideas to the table, and forced his fellow candidates to raise their game. Section 7. The Ramaswamy Factor, a rising force in American politics. Vivek Ramaswamy is a force to be reckoned with. He's intelligent, articulate, and passionate about his vision for America. He's tapped into a deep well of frustration and discontent among voters, offering a message of hope and renewal. His rise in American politics has been nothing short of remarkable. In a crowded field, he's managed to break through, to capture the attention of the nation. He's done it by speaking his truth, by challenging the status quo, by offering a bold vision for the future. Only time will tell what the future holds for Vivek Ramaswamy. But one thing is certain, he's a rising star in American politics, a voice that can no longer be ignored. His journey is a testament to the enduring power of ideas, the importance of speaking truth to power, and the enduring promise of the American dream.